I don't know if you want to lead with that.
Yeah.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sob like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks win their 4th straight game as they take down the Chicago Bulls 109-104. And man, there were good games all over the place for the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Good games all over the place. Me and Uncle Fulio, we're going to get into it. We're going to break it down for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to break it down. Uncle Fulio, before we break it down, though, we might as well address the elephant in the room because it's all over the chat, right? I think the relationship, man, has. I think it's too toxic at this point with Julius Randle. It's too toxic with the fans.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I don't think it can recover. I don't think it can recover because even if he comes back next season, fans ain't going to be happy. The minute he steps on the floor, it's going to be like that all over again. And Julius Randle is not going to be able to handle the pressure. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you look at him tonight, he was despondent. He looked very despondent tonight, so it seems like it's about that time. You know what I mean? The relationship is just sour. It's just sour. It's almost the same thing like what happened with Elfrid Payton last season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Elfrid Payton, and there's going to be people that disagree with me. I don't care if they disagree with me. I thought Elfrid Payton brought a lot to this basketball team last year. He may not have scored the basketball and been the best point guard in the world, but I thought he brought a lot. But the relationship got sour, and it had to end. It just got sour. And it seems like it's the same way with Julius Randle. The relationship is sour. So it's probably what do you think?
So I agree. And I don't think it's sour with the organization. I don't think it's sour with his teammates, but the fans. And I think, like I said, when it first happened, when he first booed the fans, unless the Knicks were going to win some games and, get into the playoff hunt and that those expectations that everyone had at the beginning of the season, I just thought that it wasn't going to end well. And now, you can just tell, like, he just seemed very disinterested today. I honestly think, they should sit him for the rest of the season. I mean, I just don't, with the playoff hopes fading, Atlanta won today. I just think that there's no reason to have Julius Randle out there, just have him at his season end early. And,
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I would not be surprised if it happened.
Yeah.
Even during the end of the game, the Knicks won the basketball game, and instead of going back to the bench and celebrating with his team, he just throws the ball and walks off the floor. Even if you're upset at the way that you played, you know what I mean? You should be happy. Be happy for your teammates who did well. You know what I'm saying? Alec Burks came up with a big night again. You know what I mean? Hit a big shot in the corner for 3, to put the Knicks up. Much needed breathing room. And then on the other end, draws an offensive foul on DeMar DeRozan. You know what I mean? Be happy for that. R.J. Barrett, 28 points tonight. Be happy for that. You know what I mean? Obi Toppin played good basketball tonight. At least offensively, he played good basketball tonight. Could have did better on the boards, but he was knocking down much needed shots. Be happy for that. But he was despondent, disinterested, and the relationship is sour. You know what I mean? The relationship is sour. I don't know if it's repairable. However,
with the fans,
definitely with the fans, definitely with the fans.
Yeah.
But that means a lot because the fans ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Players, coaches, front offices, they can go. The fans ain't going nowhere for the most part. You got some that move to LA and do stuff like that, but the fans ain't going nowhere. The relationship might be too sour to salvage. So we'll see what happens in the offseason with Leon Rose, and I'm sure they'll have a discussion. If they haven't had a discussion already, I wouldn't take it off the table that they had some kind of discussion. And he's like, man, I don't like the way this sounds. You know what I mean? But they've got to sit down and have a discussion. And it feels like from here that it's going to end in, a divorce. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, I agree with you, and I know a lot of people are like, "Well, we already paid him the money," and people are going to come up with their conspiracy theories. He's jealous of RJ, which I don't think it is.
I don't think it's that.
I don't think he is intentionally sabotaging the team or anything like that. He already got paid his money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's anything of the sort. But I just think with the fans and the whole thumbs down situation, things just have not been the same. Even when Julius Randle has a good game, the fans just kind of want him gone. And you can hear it in our arena. Like, he's at the free throw line. They're chanting, "We want OB." And he gets the technical, and everyone's sharing that. And Randall gets the technical. Tips pulls Randall out the game. The crowd is sharing. It's just like, it's just bad. It doesn't look good.
And the relationship just ain't good. You know what I mean? And, it comes a time when you just got to cut ties, and this seems like it's probably that time. Hey, the front office has to see, they've got to see if he's disinterested in playing, if it's going to be this type of, you got to build for next season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to build for next season, and the Knicks are playing well. The team is playing well. You want to win as many games coming down the stretch. And you want to leave the season feeling good. You know what I mean? And if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. I don't think they're going to. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to, but we'll see what happens from there.
And Sam, I agree with Kevin Burke. And he says the problem with Randall is that he isn't built to be the best player. I agree. I don't think he's built to be the best player on a contending team. But I think the expectations coming into this season kind of, I guess kind of put fans in this kind of light where Julius Randle was going to be the best player. And I don't think he's that. He's just not that type of player. He's a third option, second option at best, right? But, with those expectations coming into the season and him not living up to it, it's just really, really sour. And I agree with you. Like, personally, if I'm Leon Rose, I'm telling Tom Thibodeau, sit Julius for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Just so it doesn't, we can end this season on some positive notes, or what have you, and worry about him in the offseason. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough, but it's a toxic situation, and it's not going to get better. No matter what happens, Julius Randle cannot play, and he'll be the subject of conversations. You know what I mean? So it's just toxic, and it looks like it's just going to be better left alone and gone, and a divorce happen. Anyway, let's get to some positive news about the New York Knicks tonight. All right, R.J. Barrett tonight, ladies and gentlemen, 28 points tonight, 6 rebounds for R.J. Barrett. All right, he shot 41% from the field. That's okay. Shot 66.7% from the three-point line, and he made 6 or 7 free throws. R.J. Barrett, is the man. Playing like the man. You know what I mean? The ball is in his hands down the stretch. They're trying to create off of R.J. Barrett. It doesn't always look perfect. I can't even sit here and say that the Knicks executed down the stretch. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a little bit funky. So I can't even say that they fully executed down the stretch, but they did enough to win. They executed in a few situations where they really needed to, right? Where Emmanuel quickly driving to the basket, kicking it out to Alec Burks and knocking down a 3. Big shot. So they executed in that regard, but there were some areas where maybe they didn't execute. But they did enough to pull out this game. And of course, the Chicago Bulls, they're struggling as well. Well, I don't want to say as well. They're struggling right now. But big shout out to R.J. Barrett, man. Big shout out to R.J. Alec Burks, another big night. We talked about it. I don't remember if it was on the game preview or if it was on Tony's show. But when you get a night where, you played well one night, you don't get a break, you come into the next game, it's a good chance you might play well because you still got that energy going. The same way if you played bad on one night and you have a back-to-back and you go into the next night, you still might play bad. Alec Burks, another really good night, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 47% from the field. He shot 50% from the three-point line. The Knicks do not win this game without him. Bottom line, they do not win this game without Alec Burks. He made a lot of big shots early in the game, helped the Knicks develop a 12-point lead. The Knicks lost the lead. He helped to stabilize the team, hitting big shot after big shot, and one big one down the stretch. Obi Toppin, 17 points, 2 rebounds for Obi. Would love to see those rebounding numbers come up. But he shot well from the field today. Mostly he shot well from 3 today. All right, he took 11 shots, 6 of them were three-pointers, and he was 3 for 6 from the three-point line. So mostly he shot well from 3. And if Obi, people continue to say that if Obi can knock down the 3 ball, he'll be successful. He needs to continue to do so. Emmanuel Quickly, not a great game. 8 points, 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 3 from the three-point line. He was 5 for 7 from the free throw line. 8 points, 4 assists, but he had one big assist to Alec Burks in the corner that essentially won the Knicks the game. Evan Fournier, only 5 points. Julius Randle, 5 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists. Got some decent minutes from Jericho Sims, although he only had 2 rebounds. And then you have Mitchell Robinson. I don't know if I mentioned Mitchell Robinson already, but you got Mitch, man. Mitch came up big in a lot of ways tonight. 16 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks. Only 4 defensive rebounds. Steph might have something to say about that, but he had 8 offensive rebounds. All right, big game for Mitchell Robinson. He played well. You know what I mean? Knowing that you're going up against a guy like Vucevic, and Vucevic was basically nullified tonight. Right? When we look at what the Chicago Bulls did on the night, they were led in scoring by DeMar DeRozan. He had 37 points. He normally kills the Knicks. He killed the Knicks tonight. 37 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. He shot 46% from the field. He shot 100%, 1 for 1 from the three-point line, and he was 12 for 12 from the free throw line. And I love to take these opportunities. So Tony and Josh, I'm going to take this opportunity right now. When people talk to me about the plus minus, this is the reason why I do not like the plus minus. Because DeMar DeRozan is a -8 on the plus minus, tied for the most on his team, a -8. Although he had 37 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. He shot well from the field. He shot well from the three-point line. And he was perfect from the free throw line.
Right.
But he's a -8 in the plus minus. That is the reason why I don't like the plus minus when people point that out all the time. Because if it was accurate, DeMar DeRozan played well. And if that plus minus was accurate, then DeMar DeRozan would have a plus, right? But he doesn't. And his team lost by only 5. So you can't say, well, his team lost. Yeah, they lost by 5. But he was a -8. You know what I mean? So that's where, I just throw that stat out for me. I just don't believe in that stat. Anyway, Zach LaVine, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He didn't shoot well from 3. He did shoot well from the field, 47.1% from the field. Nikola Vucevic, he had 16 points and 13 rebounds, although there were times, at least in the first half, where it looked like, he couldn't do much. He ended up with 16 points and 13 rebounds, though. Ayo, the Somnu, he had 10 points, 3 assists. But that's really about it for the Chicago Bulls, right? Not a lot of scores. Alex Caruso had 3 points. Javonte Green had 3 points. Kobe White had 6 points. Tristan Thompson had 2 points. And, this is the thing. As much as we get upset about the New York Knicks, This is how much missing one player can mean to your basketball team. This player may not be the leading scorer, may not be the leading rebounder, may not be the best shooter, but certain things that they do add into your chemistry. And without Lonzo Ball, the Chicago Bulls are below 500. Right? I think they're 14-16 without Lonzo Ball. That's how much one player can mean to a basketball team when you're talking about chemistry and those type of things. You know, and the Knicks missed one pretty good player this season. And I'm not saying that, the Knicks were going to be championship contenders with Derrick Rose, but it's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But the Knicks get the win, ladies and gentlemen. They're fourth straight. They're now just 8 games below 500 as they continue to want to prove to the league and to the world that they actually are a good basketball team. The Knicks are now 34-42. Next up the bat, Charlotte. But let's continue to talk about this basketball game. Tony, what's going on with you, man? What's popping? I've come to a consensus, man.
I heard you, man.
You heard?
I think those checks must be bouncing or something, man. What's going on? Yeah.
Bro, it's too toxic. It's too toxic between the fans and Julius Randle. I just don't know if it can be repaired, bro.
Toxicity. But I also I don't believe it's beyond repair.
Okay.
I don't believe it's beyond repair. I think he has to accept a new position on the team. I think that's what he has to come to terms with.
But I don't think that's the problem.
Right. I don't think so either.
You don't think that's the problem in what sense?
I don't think it's a problem that RJ Barrett is having the ball in his hands down the stretch.
Okay. Right? I agree that I don't think he has a personal issue or he doesn't like the fact that RJ. I'm not saying that.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we have to accept RJ's that guy, right? On this team.
Currently, yeah.
Right? So Randle has to be number 2.
Right?
Right? Now, granted, he had a horrible game. I can't defend his game, obviously, tonight. But if he accepts his role and his position as number 2, or we do, and this is not in a negative sense, I think like you said, Josh, that pressure is relieved from him, and he's allowed to just play his game. Maybe it's not even number 2, whatever it is. It's RJ and then the team. Let's say it's that. You know what I mean? But he just has to play his role. He's a valuable asset to the team.
But Tony, like the past few games, even like the second half of the season, RJ was already starting to take that step, and Randle was taking the back seat to him. So I don't think Randle's struggling with that. That's been the case for half the season. I just can't put my finger on why he's so disinterested. You know what I'm saying? I think Sim is correct. I think it's something with the fans. I think it is the fans incident.
It's the fans and it's the guard. I agree 100%. Something's not right, especially at home.
Yeah,
because he's turned it around for the season, second half of the season.
But it was on the road.
But it was on the road for the most part.
Exactly. Since the All-Star break, he's played really well. He's played well, mostly on the road. Step foot in the Garden.
I concede everything you're saying. What I'm saying is I don't think it's beyond repair. It might not be repaired this season.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It may need a breath. It may need a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? Him time to just go because he has to get his mind right regardless of what. Right?
Yeah.
So I agree. Like I agree with your consensus that something's not right. That it is toxic. It's not necessarily toxic on his behalf. Besides the toxic gesture, which you may say started it all. You know what I mean? But at the same time, so you don't think he could come back and let's say he's not the number 1 option on this team, but plays a good role. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's beyond repair. Now, some of it is ignorance. You know what I mean? On the side of Knicks fans. You know what I mean? Like, but you're never gonna change that. What I'm saying is you gotta just play basketball.
Right.
And he's in a bad mental space at the Garden.
Yeah.
To be honest, at least it seems that way. I don't want to put mental things in out there, but you know what I mean? But it seems like that. So I agree there's something wrong at the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you do? How do you repair this? Because look at Elfrid Payton. I look at it the same way with Elfrid Payton, right? It got so toxic with the fans. No matter what, it was just beyond repair, and it wasn't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? His mother was getting into it with Knicks fans. Now you got Julius Randle's wife getting into it with Knicks fans. Right. You know what I'm saying? And Elfrid Payton really never said anything to the Knicks fans. He never mentioned or uttered a word. He just went out there and did what Tom Thibodeau asked him to do. You know what I'm saying? He never uttered a word besides the one time in the press conference where he said, "I don't pay attention to none of y'all." And and that only came out because he was asked the question. So so how do you do it?
Here's the thing, Sam. All right, let's say you're right? Let's say I can see you're right. And it becomes a point where we have to move this guy now, right? Now we're taking pennies on the dollar, right?
Yeah.
We're not getting the best value out of him,
right?
And let's say we get a deal that we like. My point is, who's to stop the next guy that Knicks fans don't like to get ran out of here? You know what I mean?
Like, that's gonna happen. They're gonna find a scapegoat. They're gonna find a scapegoat, Tony.
I understand that, but should the organization be listening to the fans? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. All the things that Tibbs was saying the other day, this is a reflection of this. So it's definitely seeped into the locker room. But what Tibbs is saying, I think is the correct path. We got to stick together. I'm talking as the team, the teammates, the organization, the coach. We gotta block that out. We gotta support each other. You know what I mean? But he's obvious. I'm not saying everything's fine and dandy. Don't you know what I mean? I agree with everything you guys are saying. I just don't know if it's beyond repair. I think at the very least, the start is a fresh start, a new season, an off season. Get your mind away from basketball. Obviously, things are going to be said through us fans, media, and etc. But you need the fresh start first.
Right.
Come back fresh and see where it goes. What I don't want is, now if the organization is planning on moving him, wants to move him, finds a good deal, whatever the case, I'm all for it. I'm a Knicks fan first. Don't move him because of fans. That's what I'm saying. Because you start doing that, when does it end? When does it stop?
No, I agree. I agree 100%. 100%. I agree, right? When does it stop when you do that? At what point do you start to feel like his relationship with the fans is just so bad that it's not going to help the team because he's not going to be able to perform?
Ben Simmons in Philly situation.
You understand what I'm saying? That's where I'm at.
That's fair. Now, if he wants out, if he says, "I can't take this," you know what I mean? That's totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I gotta hear it from him. I'm sure he's gonna acknowledge he hasn't played well. I know he's not gonna have the approach of, "Oh, y'all bugging, y'all don't see what I do for y'all." Like, you understand? He has to acknowledge that he hasn't been playing well, especially at the Garden.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like we've been saying, the team is coming back the same next year. I think at this point it's up to Tibbs to take the approach he did today. He's not playing well. Guess what? Obi's playing well. Obi gets some minutes. You know what I mean? He didn't put Randle back in until the lead was lost. And I think, and he had 3 opportunities, 2 that he passed on.
Yeah.
And the third one, the lead was lost and he went back with him.
Right.
That's respectable for me. You know what I mean? So if Tibbs could, and again, I'm a Tibbs guy and I'm a Randle guy. So if Tibbs could find a way to find that balance, to find that structure, to hold them together and hold Randle accountable at this point, right? I think we can be fine. It can be salvaged.
I just feel like even when he comes back next season, it's going to be like walking on eggshells. As soon as he does not play a good game or get a technical
or miss shot
or you know miss some clutch free throws down the stretch, it's going to be on and popping. So I feel like it's going to be walking on eggshells. It's going to be walking on eggshells because you're going to have people, all the people that really, really, like, there are people out there, and I can't understand it, right? Because this is really just basketball, and that is the truth. When I say it's just basketball, it really is just basketball. But there are people that literally hate this man.
Don't even know him.
Don't know him, have never spoke to him, and his family's getting like death threats. Like literally, it's been out there that's happened. So there are people, and obviously I wouldn't say that there's anyone in this chat that's doing that. You know what I'm saying? But there's people like crazy, like come on.
You know, Melo went through the same thing to a lesser degree, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know about the death threats and everything, but the same toxic energy was here for Melo. You know what I mean? Like I think the comparison to Peyton is greater, but because of the family and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if people was really saying anything to Lala or
right,
you know what I mean, like family members.
I mean,
of Melo, but it's that same toxic energy,
and it's really a very small portion of the Knicks fans. I mean, there's millions of Knicks fans, so it's a very small portion, but they're loud. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know. It just seems like it's going to be hard because it's always going to be him walking on eggshells and the fans waiting for something to happen. You know what I'm saying? And part of it, too, is he's not homegrown. I think that the fans will have more patience for a homegrown player. Right? Because you look at Frank Ntilikina. Right? Frank wasn't giving you much, but people wanted to see him out there on the floor. You know, if he messed up, you know, there wasn't, get him off the floor. You know, we want DSJ. You know, it was the opposite, right? They wanted Frank, not DSJ. You know, so the fact that Obi is homegrown, RJ's homegrown, Mitch is homegrown, these guys are homegrown, I think they will get a lot more leadway, right? They'll get it, but at some point, that honeymoon will be over too.
I agree, and you make a great point because I don't think RJ would be next on the list. I think it would be Fournier after Randall gets removed. It's gonna be like.
But Tony, I was talking to Sim before we came on here, and I know people are asking, well, why did he take Obi out the game in the fourth quarter? People don't realize this. Obi played 11 straight minutes. No, Obi played 11 straight minutes because the fans were chanting for Randall, and Randall wasn't playing well. He was so lazy. It kind of messed up Tibbs' rotation a little bit because Tibbs wanted to play Randall for a little bit longer
3 minutes
before he threw Obi back in the third, but he pulled them way earlier than that, and Obi played 11 straight minutes. Yeah. So by the time the fourth quarter came around, Obi got his points or whatever, he started to get tired. That unit was starting to kind of, flutter off a little bit, and he had to put Randall back in the game in the final three to 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But Randall didn't help the situation by playing lazy and lackadaisical. You know what I'm saying? So for those people who out there who are like, well, why did Tibbs always pulls Obi when he's playing well? He played 11 straight minutes. You can't keep him out there for the final 18 minutes of the game.
No, right. And at the point in the game, the Knicks had a 12-point lead or something like that, and it had dwindled down to 1. Part of it is, you needed a mix of defense and a little bit more beef out there on the floor, probably. Randall got in, had to defend DeMar DeRozan on the first play that he was in the game, contested.
And had a great defensive possession.
Right.
Rebounding too, Sam. Rebounding too, secure.
Yep, rebounds. He contested the shot. DeMar DeRozan missed the shot. We come back down and score the other way. You know what I mean? So I can understand what he did. And also, it's not like he put the ball in Randall's hand. He had Randall in the corner, let the ball stay in IQ and RJ Barrett's hand.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then Randall was there, ready for a kick out or whatever, was going to happen. But it's going to be such an interesting summer. You know what I'm saying? An interesting summer, and obviously, I've been on record and saying all along, give him an opportunity. But man, it's just feeling like it's so
I
get into the chat, Tony. Nobody cares about the win. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that R.J. Barrett scored 28 points. That Emmanuel quickly made a big play to Alec Burks. No one cared that Obi Toppin played a good game. Nobody cared that these young guys that we complain and cry about not developing played good basketball games and helped us to win down the stretch. The only thing that was in the chat is he got to go.
And where that toxic energy coming from? You feel me? Like I'm not opposed to him going. I'm not trying to do pennies on the dollar. You know what I mean?
Right,
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to take a step backwards. You know what I mean? Like, granted, we could argue we have this year, but consistency. You know what I mean? Like stability. Those things mean something. Like I say, figure it out. Like at least another year.
Yeah.
When all that money come off the brook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. And now you could really start rebuilding and building something. But I'm not opposed to moving them. But I'm saying not for the wrong move. Not just to move them.
Right. I hear you. You know, I mean, it gets to the point. I won't even go on Twitter because I just don't want to. I don't want to see about. I just don't want to see the negativity about anything. It's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, it's there. Sam.
I know. That's why I barely go on Twitter. You know, I go on there to post some stuff, have some conversations with people that I talk to. You know, if I have some debates about things with people, cool. But the negativity, I'm like, yo, I don't got time to deal with all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm like, I don't even go there. So I don't even be jumping in the Twitter spaces like that because I just don't want to deal with all of that. You know what I mean? So we will see how that works out. This is going to be one interesting summer, but believe it or not, the New York Knicks did win tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for their fourth straight game. They won, right? And, you know, they didn't play perfect down the stretch, but they executed enough to defeat a playoff team. Now they got another playoff team coming up. I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to get to a phone call. Then I want to talk a little bit about what this means coming down the stretch if we continue to play well. All right, caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
What up, Sim? This is Ayub from Iowa.
What's up, Ayub? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I just wanted to say welcome to you and Sim and Fuyo, because you guys are finally on the train. You know.
No. Hold on. I'm not on the train. I'm not on any kind of train. This is all about the relationship between Julius Randle and the fans. That's what it's all about.
Let's do him a favor and just get him out of here. Let's do him a favor and put him on another team.
It's all about. But that is a issue in and with of itself, because like Tony said, the next one is coming. The next one is coming. The next one is coming.
The thing about Randall.
No, but wait a minute. The next one is coming, and there's going to be another. There's going to be another player that comes to this team, and it's going to be toxic again.
But
that's what I'm saying.
In my opinion, I don't think he's going to be as toxic as Randall has become.
We didn't think it could be as toxic as it was with Elfrid Payton. We didn't think it could get any more toxic than that.
But Elfrid, he was a dud. He was giving us nothing.
Okay.
But Randall, I respect him.
So is Randall giving us nothing, and he deserves worse treatment than Payton?
He's something. Can you say that again? I didn't hear you.
Say that again, Tony.
I said, is Randall giving us nothing, and does he deserve worse treatment than Payton?
No, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve worse because he's playing okay defense. You know, he's rebounding the ball. But the thing is, every time you expect something every time you put expectations on Randall, he just lets you down. Because he's not that guy.
Maybe because he's just not that guy, and there needs to be someone that's better than him. But as fans, we're not realizing, we're not seeing that. We still have the expectation that we want him to be Kawhi Leonard
I don't know if he can ever just become like a second option to somewhere. I don't know.
He was tonight.
But tonight he was, what was he, like 1 for 10? He was invincible out there. He wasn't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. And he was
13 rebounds.
he was also against Detroit.
So
Right.
that's
He was
another reason why we need to get rid of him, because we played better without him. It's just better basketball.
No.
Man.
What I'm saying is, you said, could he ever be I don't think he could ever be a second option. I said he was in Detroit.
But he wasn't producing as a second option. A second option at least produces,
points.
He puts up.
He had 18 points. R.J. Barrett also had 18 points. They shot the same percentage from the field just about. I think R.J. was 7 for 17, and Julius Randle was 7 for 18.
But IQ was the one who stepped up, and
That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point about who stepped up. You just said, I don't think he could accept being a second option. And I said he was in Detroit. He did not touch the ball in the last 4 minutes of the game. It was R.J. Barrett. That's what I was saying. It was R.J. Barrett. He just played the basketball game. That's what I'm saying. And he still contributed to the win.
But Sim, that's a 1 game sample size. That's one game.
There's more games than that. There's way more. Go back and watch the games. Then there's more games where he literally didn't shoot, and he gave it up to other people. Yes, there were games where he tried to take over as well, and he wasn't successful. Sometimes he was.
I don't really care about it. I just want about my team. Man.
Okay,
I'm just gonna end off.
Right.
I'm just gonna end this just real quick. Can we please just give Emmanuel quickly his props?
We did.
Did you see the way he was running the offense?
Well, yes. I mean, we did.
Yes.
We gave him his props.
When did he become so patient and like?
Well, he's learning. He's learning. Everybody says that Tom Thibodeau is not helping these kids develop, but obviously he is.
Yes, I know. I'm in the camp of keeping Thibodeau, but getting rid of 30. That's where I stand. And right. Thank you for a call. Thank you for letting me call in.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Ayub. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Everybody wants to throw Tibbs out the door, but then they want to compliment IQ for developing. They want to compliment RJ for developing. They want to compliment Quentin Grimes and Obi Toppin for developing, like they did it all by themselves. And they did 95% of the work. But that other 5% is help from the coaching staff. And guess what? Every other player in the league does 95% of the work. And the other 5% is their coaching staff.
Sim. But Ayub did make a good point about IQ. Like, I know we were talking, we talk all the time about the Knicks needing a point guard, and down the stretch of games, us not having a point guard to help us close. But Emmanuel quickly over these last 4 games, even though he didn't have scored that many points tonight, he helped us close the game out, being patient, being a point guard with the ball in his hands. And, that speaks volumes, because 2 months ago, like I said, everyone wanted to trade Emmanuel quickly and bench him, not just you, Tony. But you know what I'm saying? But I think that's what's been helping us close these games out. Having Emmanuel quickly, developing to being that point guard. And I think that's what helped us. But Emmanuel quickly wasn't doing that early in the season, to Tony's point and everyone else, right? But it took him time to develop that. And I think the future is bright for Quickly, and maybe, he might be the starting point guard next season. Who knows? I still want to go out and get someone else and have him fight for it. But Emmanuel Quickly's really been showing us through these last 4 games. I think he's a real, to me, I know RJ's been doing what he's been doing, but Quickly, to me, has been the key to closing these games out down the stretch.
He's been
point
the big
guard
key.
play.
He's been the big key. Second-year player all season long, been playing down the stretch over veterans. And I'm saying that because Andrew, whoever in the chat, Andrew Jones, Andrew Jones said they developed despite Tibbs. That's totally wrong. In my opinion, that's totally wrong. You know what I'm saying? Totally wrong. Totally.
Can I give a prime example of when I was calling for Quickly to sit and talking about how Grimes makes him expendable. In that same stretch, it might have been the same game. I also acknowledge that Tibbs went to Quickly down the stretch for a potential game-tying shot. I said Tibbs trusts this guy. I also acknowledged his better facilitation, his better defense, his better rebounding. So again, even when I called on it, I knew, and I said he should start over Burks when I said he was made expendable. the one reason I said he wouldn't be expendable is because he's showing the ability to play the point guard position, which Grimes has yet to show. And so I like Grimes, but the fact that Quickly is able to play two positions now, it makes him more valuable than Grimes. I said all this in the same set, you know what I mean, in the same time frame of me saying Grimes makes him expendable. So I kind of try to look at every angle anyway. And I was just gonna ask you, do you think are you changing on your mind of Quickly running the point next year? Because he's showing us a lot. And a lot of growth this year.
Yeah, a lot of growth this year. I still want to see more. You know what I mean? I definitely want to see more. Definitely want to see, just him be able to, like you sent me that text and you said, this is where we need someone to settle the team down. I want to see him be able to do that. Really settle it down and, get everybody together, when it's necessary. But, that comes with experience. You know what I'm saying? It does. It comes with experience. I think they're going to have a good discussion over the offseason about Emmanuel Quickly, and if they think Emmanuel Quickly can run it. I still think they're going to go out and try to get another point guard. But if they don't, maybe they'll go ahead and hand the keys over to Quickly and say, go for it. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's going to play again in the summer league. I doubt it. You know what I mean? So now, this year he might want to play in the summer league, and I would let him play in the summer league again for a third year, just so he can continue to get more point guard work. You know what I mean? And be the guy running it full time. Regardless of what people say, it's good development. You know what I'm saying? Like you seen it. Last year in the summer league, he got a chance to run point guard full time. He comes to the Knicks, he plays his role. If he goes to the summer league again this year and he runs it full time, you know what I'm saying? That's him learning how to play that point guard role and then see what happens when he comes back. That's how you develop a young player. You know what I mean? Let me get to the caller. Caller, you live, man. Who's this? Spree?
What's up, Sim?
What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
Spree.
Hey, man. I have a question about a couple things.
Yeah.
Evan Fournier, he broke the record, and I saw a lot of people. Obviously, I'm not taking anything away from it. Congratulations. But I still – let me ask you this first. Do you want Evan Fournier back next year?
I don't mind having Evan Fournier back.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? I think he's worth the money that we're paying him. You're gonna have nights like this. I get it. You're gonna have nights like this, and maybe people don't want to have nights like this. But after the first month of the season, he's played pretty consistent basketball, and I think that he, you need a sniper out there, and he's a sniper.
Okay. I mean, this is my take. I mean, I respect your opinion, and he has played better, to your point. I like him or Burks coming off the bench. I personally, the only thing I still don't like about Fournier is he doesn't really play good defense. He doesn't rebound enough for me. He's kind of slow still. I understand he's gotten better, and I understand a lot of his problems earlier in the year. A lot of it was not the chemistry with Randall. A lot of Fournier's problems came from Randall. Some of it was Fournier missing wide open shots. I'm not going to say it was all of that.
A lot of it was that.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, Fournier can make threes. Okay, I get that. I'm just saying, I don't know. I still would like a really nice two that's an all-around two that can score and play defense, and preferably have a Burks or a Fournier off the bench. That's just me.
I'm
but
good with that. I don't know where we get that two from. I don't know where we get that two from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people think or say it's going to be Cam Reddish. Some people say Quentin Grimes. I don't think Quentin Grimes is that all-around two type of player. He's just going to be a sniper as well. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure where we get that two from. Maybe Cam Reddish fits the prototype, but can he do it and be consistent doing it?
Yeah. I hope so. I also want to say this. I want to quickly, also, I want to clarify my position on Alec Burks. I've been criticized of jumping off the Burks bandwagon when I said he was MJ last year. My position has always
that
been
this year,
when
man.
Alec Burks. I did jump off the bandwagon, but Sim, my position has always been when he's off the ball, he's fine. He's fine. Like when he's off the ball, you can trust him to get buckets. He just can't play point guard. Like we've been playing him out of position for most of the year. That's not his fault.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, it's the fact that Tibbs doesn't feel like he has anybody better. He said it. This is the best we got.
So like when fans criticize Burks, and I've hated the point guard thing, but like let's be real here. He would be fine if Rose was healthy and he was coming off the bench with the second unit. None of us would have an issue with Alec Burks. Correct?
Correct. I don't think so. I don't think so. A lot of things change. A lot of things change if Rose is here.
And I don't have a problem with him playing out of position because he hasn't been. He's had a horrible stretch early in the season, but when he got going and kind of, I think, adjusted, I think he's been great. Yeah.
I mean, so I'm going to lay off Alec Burks. I love his game when he's off the ball. He's very clutch. It's just, unfortunately, we've asked him to do something he really shouldn't be doing. He's playing out of position. But the point guard thing, I'm of the opinion, Sam, even though IQ showing you stuff here, and like you said, you want to see more, it's good. I'm not ready to say that bringing Derrick Rose, IQ, and Deuce is enough. I still would like to see them draft a point guard. Just have as many creators as possible. You want as many creators as possible coming into training camp. I'm not ready to say IQ is the starting point guard. I can't do that yet. I'm not in a position to say that right now.
Yeah. I hear you. May 4th said,
you don't think a rookie's going to start, though, right?
Probably not, but I don't think any of these guys are pure point guards. I think they can all do point guard things. And that's why I still think we need that pure point. And IQ, maybe IQ will show me more, but right now he hasn't gotten the reps, and I don't think he can do it for a full 48. I think he can create at times. He did it in the fourth quarter, but I still think we need a point guard. That's just me.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, I mean, I think we do. And I think the Knicks are going to go out and try to get one. May 4th in the chat said, cause Burks will not make a cross-court pass in traffic. That's not totally a bad thing. And the reason why I say that, May 4th, is because maybe he just knows his limitations. And so he's like, I'm not going to make this pass because I'm not comfortable making that pass. He's put in this position to play the point guard spot, and maybe he's just doing what he's comfortable doing so that he can get the job done satisfactory enough. And I can't blame him for that.
I can. The only thing I blame, I think Burks should just tell Tibbs, don't keep me taking the ball out of bounds. I can't stand that, Sim. I don't want Burks. Whenever Burks, there's two things I hate on this team. When Mitch falls to the ground, I fall out of my chair every time. And on that rebound when he fell into the cameraman, I almost lost it. And also when Burks inbounds the ball. Why does he keep it? I get scared, Sam. I get very scared.
Who do you want inbounding the ball, if not Burks?
Anybody but Burks.
But who?
Anybody.
I mean, but who? Because, RJ, like when you looking at clutch situation, here's why Burks is inbounding the ball, right? Especially on the sideline, like you look when down the stretch when we had to shoot free throws. Burks is inbounding the basketball. You throw Julius Randle under the basket because he can get position under there, right? So you can throw it to him like they did tonight, all right? And then you got Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett who are off the ball so that they can handle the ball. You want to inbound it so you're going to have Mitch taking it out?
I'd have Randall take it out.
But Randall is one of your bigger targets. That's the reason why I think they don't have him taking it out, because he's one of your bigger targets out there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, some other teams have bigger targets throwing it out, but to your point, he can box people out. But Randall also is prone to drawing a charge when he boxes people out and throwing an elbow. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. I'm just always cautious. But I think look, this season has not been a complete waste. I mean,
no, it's not.
RJ's gotten better. IQ's getting more reps. Obi's playing better as the season has ended here. they're starting to win some games. Sims has gotten more runs. So everybody that says this has been a wasted season, yeah, it's been a disappointing season, but I still think they're doing the right thing, Sim. You said it the whole past 2 weeks. They're doing the right thing, trying to win games. I don't care what anybody says. This is good for the young players.
It's good for him. It's really good for him. Spree, I appreciate you, man.
That's all I got, man.
Appreciate you.
Be good, man.
Let me get to a couple of super chats here, ladies and gentlemen. Then I'll get to another phone call. Big shout out to Alvaro Orion. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. He said, okay, I'm happy, but I'm also confused. Why wait till the end of the season to play like this? Love the show. Let's go next. Thank you. I appreciate you. Sometimes I don't think it's your choice. I don't think they tried to wait to the end of the season. It's just sometimes things come together at different times. You know what I mean? And, you just got to continue to keep playing and keep playing and keep playing and hope that this can go over into the next season. Nikki B from Harlem, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He said, if the Knicks fans don't want a 27-year-old with all NBA talent and a 2-time coach of the year that develops the youth, I say let them go. Serves us right. Sorry to tell you, Nikki B, the Knicks fans are here to stay. They ain't going nowhere, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not. Knicks fans are here.
Also, the thing with Julius Randle is we know what he can do. Like when he wants to do it, it's just that sometimes these low effort, these low energy games, it just kind of ruins it.
I mean, listen, he gets into his own head. There's no doubt about it. He gets into his head. You know what I mean? One more, Tone. Paul Morrison, thank you for the super chat. He said, I think IQ should stay coming off the bench even next season. I feel the difference in these wins has been Tibbs sticking with the hot hand like last year. Also, trade Attitude Randall and get a point guard. I mean, I don't know what point guards are out there. Actually, I do. Malcolm Brogdon, Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? We will see how that works out. There's a lot of ways to go about getting those guys. We'll see if they're going to talk with Randall. I'm pretty sure. We'll see what comes of it.
The Brogdon move seems feasible. I gotta get out of here, but I got two questions for you guys.
Yeah.
First, what was your favorite Obi play of the night?
Ooh.
My favorite Obi play.
That move he did on the baseline when he went off the glass. That one.
Yeah, I guess probably the post up move. You know what I'm saying? He had the ball in the corner, took a couple dribbles down to the box, then he spun baseline and laid it up off the glass. Probably the same move Josh is talking about.
All right. I like the deep lob, the deep post up,
okay.
and it was like from over half court, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty sick, and just grabbed the ball and just went right up as high as he could.
I just like to see him being able to execute a move. Because that's the one thing that I'm looking for him is to be able to create his own shot from time to time, not all the time, just from time to time, be able to create his own shot. So seeing that tonight, I'm like, if you can do that, man, that's big time. That's big time for him. Yeah,
for sure. And how about that RJ dunk?
Oh yeah, that was nasty. That was nasty. That was nasty.
But that's it, Sim. As always, man, I appreciate you. I got to get out of here. Josh, Uncle Fulio, you said tomorrow you got a show?
Yep, tomorrow 6 p.m. I'm going on with the Streets of Buzzing, CT.
No doubt. I'll be looking forward to that. Yo, Black is time. Shout out to the chat. Knicks 4-0 or 4 in a row. Let's see if we can finish this up. Finish the stretch.
Yeah, let's finish it up. All right, Tone. Appreciate you, bro. We'll let Tone move on. AU, thank you for the super chat. He said, addition by subtraction, bye-bye, number 30. This is RJ's team. Listen, we're going to see how these things go down, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see how they go down. Anyway, some numbers behind the game tonight. The New York Knicks, of course, they win this game 109-104 over the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls actually out-rebounded the Knicks 47-46, but it did not matter because the New York Knicks won the basketball game. The Knicks, 19 assists. Low assist count for the Knicks, 16 for the Bulls. Low assist count for them as well. 6 steals for the Bulls, 4 for the Knicks, 3 blocks for the Bulls, 4 for the Knicks. The Knicks only 6 turnovers tonight, right? So while they came into this game averaging 17 assists, and so I guess they got 2 more than what they averaged coming into this game, but 17 assists and 15 turnovers, a terrible assist-to-turnover ratio, they made it a much better assist-to-turnover ratio by getting 19 assists and only 6 turnovers tonight. The Bulls, 16 assists and 12 turnovers tonight. The Bulls shot 43% from the field and 26% from 3. The Knicks, 42.7% from the field and 34% from 3. The Knicks missed a lot of free throws tonight, and it almost came back to bite them. They only shot 60% from the free throw line, and they had to have missed at least 13 free throws tonight, I believe. Let me see if I can get that count for you. The Knicks from the free throw line they missed 14. They were 21 of 35. Almost came back to bite them. Luckily, they pulled it out. Points in the paint were tied at 44. The Knicks, 20 second chance points. Chicago, 17. Both teams low on the fast break. The Knicks, 7 fast break points, and the Chicago Bulls, 4 fast break points. Now, let me get to this caller, Josh, and we'll get back to talking some more stuff. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Oh, what's up, Sims? Mike from Staten Island.
What's going on, Mike? How you feeling, man?
I don't got a too long of a question. I was wondering though, do you think this season, with what's going on with Julius and how we're playing, you think it messes up our chances for getting someone in the future?
You know, I think just the whole situation with Julius, right? And Julius has his part to blame. Everybody has their part to blame. I think the whole situation with Julius just makes stars and people say, I got my reservations about New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it does. Regardless of whose fault it is or whose fault that people think it is, it continues to happen in New York.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
You know, and it happens over and over and over again. And so a lot of stars look at New York and say, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Or
they want to play here, but they want to play against us.
Listen, that's the thing.
It's crazy.
That's the thing. They don't mind playing here, but, you know, if they can play here twice a year, cool. I do it. I love playing in the Garden twice a year. Or if it's just once a year. I love playing in the Garden once a year. I get one chance to go to the Garden every year, and I'm going to capitalize on it.
Yeah. I just hope they overlook what's going on this season and just see what our young guys are doing. And maybe RJ, Quickly, and everybody, what they're doing, maybe.
Hey, Mike, that's real difficult. The Knicks won a ball game tonight, a really good ball game where the young kids played very well, and we started off talking about Julius Randle and the fans.
Yeah, you know, it's tough. Right. It's tough, man. You know, Q Rich was just talking about it the other day. You know, and that's exactly what he said. You know, players, they don't mind coming to the Garden. They love coming to the Garden to play, but they don't really want to call it. They don't want to play 41 games at the Garden. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's a lot, there's a lot more to have to. It's not just the fans, but, the fans, the media, the taxes, you know what I'm saying? All of that factors in, which is why the Knicks have to overpay some players. It's like you got to pay, you got to pay a little bit of a tax to deal with New York for a player to say, I'm going to deal with New York. And the fact is, there's a lot of places out there, and, people will say, well, those fans aren't as passionate and stuff like that. That's all fine and well, but there's a lot of places out there that, players are like, man, I can go over here and play, and I don't have to worry about the media. I don't have to worry about fans. I don't have to worry about the taxes. I don't have to worry about the podcasters.
KD, sorry to cut you off, but I think it says a lot that KD and Kyrie they go like 20 minutes away from us. They go to Brooklyn instead of coming to New York to the Knicks. I think that really says a lot about us. But,
so
I don't know.
It makes it tough. Even the podcasters, they're like, I don't got to deal with the podcasters too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't got to worry about sending me a message asking me to do an interview. You know what I mean? Or somebody sending me something, hashtag NBK fan, listen what Sim said. They don't got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I appreciate you, bro.
Yep, absolutely. I love the show, yo. So
Thank you. Appreciate
continue
it.
what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Yeah. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. Call you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hello.
Hello? Yeah, you're live, bro.
Oh, hey, how you guys doing? It's Tony from Harlem by way of Florida.
What's going on, Tony?
What's up, Tony?
Glad you're calling in.
I always call when I'm upset about them losing. So I figured I'd call one time when they win.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I called in the defense of Emmanuel Quigley.
Okay.
Like, you guys are definitely talking about his development, and I totally agree with that. But there's some other things, like, going on, and I'm just reading as the chats as people are going through, and people are talking about how Emmanuel Quigley is not a pure point guard. He's not a prototypical point guard. I watched the rest of the league, and someone put in the chat, I won't shout anybody out, but they were like, a pure point guard is Chris Paul. I hate to say it, but Chris Paul and players like that are a dying breed in the NBA. Every show, including this show, when people talk about the next guard that we want, even when they're unavailable, these guys, everyone is named is always a scoring point guard. All these guys take shots from the logo. All these guys have handles where they attack the hole and everybody kind of like stands around. They have good court vision. I'm not saying they don't have good court vision, but they're all score first point guards. As Knicks fans, I know we all get trapped in the Mark Jackson thought process. Oh, we got to get this guy who's going to come down, get us 5 assists, maybe get us a couple of rebounds, bring the ball up, and it's going to slow everything down. It sounds nice. It sounds nice, but I would like to hear a list of guys that are all playing like Chris Paul is, where he's a pure floor general and he's a complete player who's not a scoring guy. I just don't see it. I don't see it on anybody's team. In next season, when the Knicks decide to go after Brunson, in my opinion, Brunson, because he plays with Doncic, he's another combo guard. He probably will get the primary responsibility when he gets here, but he's still going to be trying to score. He's going to be putting the ball up because now he's going to be put in that role to score. I just don't see it. Like, I'm just so tired of hearing people talk about the pure point guard. No one's going to. Mark Jackson's not going to lace up for us ever again.
Yeah.
Derek Harper, it's done.
Yeah, but see, I think it's not just about someone being a pure point guard. I think it's just about having someone from whatever position it is who knows how to settle the team down and can help to get things done in situations. Recognizing the situation of the game and say, okay, this is what we need to do right now. That's something that this team, I believe, is just sorely missing.
But that's what I say, pure point guard, and I appreciate what you're saying. But that could be any player. You can go after. I don't want to say any player. I don't mean not anybody can do it. But if you find yourself a level-headed veteran, a level-headed player who can play his position well and knows the game, who's smart, it doesn't have to be a pure point guard. It's like we're looking for something so like a gem. We're looking for that perfect diamond. And if we don't get that perfect diamond, which is like, you ever hear the expression, what is it, good? I mean, excellent is the enemy of good, or excellent is the enemy of good. Like, Quigley right now, and just one quick thing about Quigley, because people keep saying, oh, let him keep coming off the bench. Now, I can appreciate what those saying that, but there is a difference between the bench and starting. And I know none of us care about that, but when it comes down to the contract negotiation and his agent is out there talking about, hey, this is what Quigley is, he's going to want to negotiate from the position of being a starter because starters get paid more money. So every time someone says, well, he should stay on the bench, yeah, that's great for us. It ain't great for him. And if another team, if he develops the way he seems to be developing, and he turns into an actual a point guard that we approve of, I put that in quotations, we approve of, he might say, well, kid is going to keep me on the bench for the rest of my career here. I'm just leaving. And then we're stuck in the same situation we were in before.
The only thing I will say about that is I don't know if I've ever seen in anyone's contract where it says that you start a certain number of games. I always seen it says, you get a bonus or you get this or that if you're available for a certain number of games, because I just think it's more important, and even to coaches and general managers and teams, that you're able to close the game down the stretch. And right now, Emmanuel Quickly's on the floor during those times, and I think you can, even if he's not starting, he can look and say, but I closed the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's going to give him just as much bargaining power.
I respect that. I just would like us as Knicks fans to move the conversation forward and just kind of say, yo, listen, Emmanuel Quick, listen, I'll even give the ground up and say, hey, listen, maybe Emmanuel doesn't start, but he needs most of the minutes. And I'm so tired of hearing people tell me that, oh, we need to go out and get us a pure point guard. I would like to see the conversation move forward. Let's just get us a good point guard. You can pick. I don't hate Taj. I like when Taj is on the floor and he's slowing things down. I don't want him on the floor for 40 minutes. I feel like he's gonna have a heart attack. But you can find a level-headed player to be your floor general. It doesn't have to be.
No, you're right.
A point guard.
You're right. It doesn't have to be a point guard, but
it's nice.
But
it's rare.
Someone who is a primary ball handler, to me, is more beneficial being in that position, because that means this person has the ball in their hands a lot, right? And so, when they feel like it's time to run a certain play, they got the ball so they can run that play. When they feel it, this in this situation we need to do such and such and such, they have the ball so that they can do such and such and such. So I think that's the reason why people point towards a point guard. But you're right; it can be any position on the floor. But in my opinion, the way I feel, I would like it to be someone who is a primary ball handler, regardless if it's a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, right?
Well, I'll leave it with this question because I would love to hear you guys. And if you guys don't respond to it now, maybe because you guys do the show in the daytime, which I watch too. Love you guys' show. I would like a list of guys that are in the league that are just like Chris Paul. That you guys, I can
give it to you right now. I can give it to you right now. I don't need time to think about that. None. That's it. That's the list. There ain't none.
Well,
I'll give you that right now.
In the chat time. Tell me in the chat.
I mean, shoot. Yeah.
All right,
man. I appreciate
Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Appreciate you.
So, hey, Sim. So,
yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. Down the stretch of games, like, we need a guy with the ball in their hands, basically to help us close games. But to me, let's say, for example, best case, example for some fans, right? Let's say Cam Reddish comes back next season and RJ Barrett, is still here, obviously, right? And then you have those two guys. Randall's gone, right? And then you have those two guys basically being the two focal points of the offense for the majority of the game. Your point guard doesn't have to be a primary ball handler at that point. Your point guard can be a secondary ball handler, play off of those guys, and then down the stretch of games, you have another ball handler out there. Not saying a secondary ball handler meaning he's going to basically just be a shooter or something like that, but you just have someone out there who during the course of the game is not going to be a primary ball handler, but down the stretch of games can still do it. I think that will work as well. It doesn't necessarily need to be a ball-dominant guy, and I don't think that's what you're saying at all. You're saying it's the primary ball handler that can do it. But it doesn't necessarily need to be a ball dominant guy like a Fox or Trae Young or someone like that. And that's where Malcolm Brogdon comes in and Jalen Brunson. I really like those two guys. Right. I think they're smart with the basketball. They don't turn it over as much. Maybe Brogdon does a little bit, but they're really smart with the basketball and they can settle the team down. But Quickly's been doing a great job over these past 4 games. Like he's been doing really good.
It's no doubt about it.
Really good.
Quickly's been doing a really good job, and he's coming along nicely as point guard in this league. He just, he is. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not saying that this guy has to be the person who is just having the ball in his hands every single time down the floor. I'm not talking about that. But when you have a primary ball handler, they may not always have the ball every single time, but when they want the ball, they're giving it to him. His teammates are giving the ball to him, and it's got to be someone that you trust that's going to make the right call time and time again. Obviously, some people are going to make mistakes, but they're going to make the right call time and time again and be able to really be the coach's brain on the floor. You know what I mean? And it's hard. And it's hard to get. May 4th said, maybe Mike Conley. He might be the closest to Chris Paul right now. I'm sure there's going to be some other guards that come along in this league that are able to do that. But right now, it's kind of Chris Paul by himself with the way that he, is that kind of a guard. Someone talked about Ja Morant being a lead guard. He's the lead guard and he's the primary ball handler. But what I'm talking about, he doesn't do that yet. I'm not talking about creating for other people and, breaking down the defense and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. Will he get to do that? I feel positive he will. He's a talented young man. Kenny Reese, thank you for the super chat. He said, I'd like to give Randall a chance till next deadline. I think he has the yips, or it's his quads setting him back. Maybe he's saying hips, or his quads setting him back. You can see he's frustrated in himself. I hope that he is frustrated in himself and not his teammates and things like that. But, we would like to see, just you're on the basketball team, you're frustrated with yourself and the way that you perform. You know what I mean? Still celebrate with your teammates. You know what I mean? Talk to yourself a little bit. And I know every person is different and they're going to handle things in a different way. So I dig it.
Sim, I would be shocked if the Garden let Julius Randle do a post-game press conference today. I would be shocked. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I would like to hear it if they did. You know what I'm saying? But I doubt that's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be R.J. Barrett, Alec Burks. Right?
Quickly.
Okay. He said the yips are involuntary wrist spasms that occur most commonly when golfers try to putt. I don't know. Maybe that's what he was saying, but I don't know. That's what he was talking about. I'm not sure. Get to a caller here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chris. I'm from Sunset Park.
What's going on, Chris? How you feeling?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. What you thinking about tonight?
So I want to address a couple of things about the team that I think are really misunderstood. First of all, I don't think we're in a bad position at all. I think we got into the playoffs and everyone got kind of thirsty when we really overachieved in the first place. I think the timeline of this team is built for 2 years from now. And if we did nothing but develop, we'd probably be regularly in the playoffs. Maybe not the best contenders, but I think we'd be regularly in the 6th seed area. Do you guys agree?
Oh, say that again. I zoned out for a second and I didn't catch everything.
So I'm saying if we did nothing but develop for a couple years with this roster, I think we'd be in the playoffs regularly.
Moving forward, yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. It's hard to say, but it's possible.
Of this Randall slander. I think he seems to be underachieving, but I think teams have just really learned how to play against him, and he's the only player on the team that commands a double team.
Right.
So so it's becoming a question of who is he? He's obviously not a good first option. Is it RJ's team? Whatever. The reality is that they probably both aren't a good first option at this point. If we were able to sign a guy like Donovan Mitchell or something, I think that whole conversation goes out the window. No one on the team would have a question who the first option is.
Listen, I agree with you 100%. 100%. I'm just afraid that it's the relationship between Randall and the fans has become too toxic to go forward. That's what I'm afraid of. I don't know if it can be repaired. You know what I'm saying? But I agree with you 100%. I still feel like Julius Randle, whether it's with the Knicks or not, is going to be a really good player on a good basketball team.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I totally agree. It actually it worries me a lot because even if we got a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who's great, but the Jazz aren't really that great. I mean, they're a good team, but they're not that great. I feel like it'd be the same problem with Mitchell on the team. The fans would be oh, they're not winning games. He turned the ball over, and people would say we got to trade him.
Right.
I mean, that's going to be, no matter who comes to the team, no matter who it is, it's going to happen at some point. We know that.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett, 95% of the fans are going to love RJ Barrett. There's going to be that 5% that's get him out of here. You know what I mean? And they'll be the ones that post on their Twitter the most. They'll be the ones sitting behind their desk and on their phones all day long, posting stuff under 5 different accounts probably. And it's just one person.
Another thing I wanted to ask you guys, So like I really like IQ, and I don't think he's a perfect point guard, but I do agree with what I heard a previous caller say, that there aren't really pure point guards in the league. And when everyone wanted Damian Lillard last year, I was actually saying we should go after someone like Patty Mills. IQ I think is like a really good player, but I think he's the most expendable player on the team, unfortunately. And I think he's got a lot of value. And if we were going to go after a good point guard, I think if he was packaged with like a player that I love, like Rose, like who probably deserves to be on a better team, to be honest, I think there's a really good package there to get a solid point guard, and then we can, you know, still play Grimes, and we have Burks and Evan.
Well, I mean, I don't know who the package is going to be. I do, but where I agree with you is that the Knicks have the means to bring in a solid point guard. However they move around the pieces, you know, because Alec Burks is on an expiring contract going into next season. Nerlens Noel is on an expiring contract. Who else is on an expiring contract? There's a couple other. Taj Gibson's on an expiring contract.
Rose, Kemba.
I think Rose has one more year on his contract.
No, you talking about for 2023?
No, going into next season.
Oh, we don't have any expiring contracts this year.
Well, we have
not
team
going
options,
into,
though,
but
like Evans on Evans.
Evan has the extra
after
year.
next year, Evans on the team option.
Yeah.
At the end of 2023, it's Rose,
they're kind of
Burks.
expiring. It's up to the team.
Right. Not going into next season, but next season, you know, they'll be expiring next season. Derrick Rose.
Right.
Oh, yeah. There's a team option for Derrick Rose. Yeah. So, yep. Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, Kemba Walker. Yeah, Taj Gibson. All of those guys. And Obi Toppin as well.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's crazy contract flexibility on this team.
Yeah, there's a team option for Obi Toppin next season at $6.8 million, and then after the next season, after the team option, is the qualifying offer.
That's his 5th year.
Yep, Emmanuel Quickly actually expires at the end of next season. Quentin Grimes also expires at the end of next season, and Miles McBride expires at the end of next season, and there are team options for all of those players.
That's crazy. That's actually really crazy.
Yep.
So I really think, like, you know, just staying the course and just making like small upgrades as we can. You know, we signed a couple bad defensive players to try to get more offense, but that kind of wasn't where our strength was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it upset a lot of things. But if we can just keep making improvements with the roster we have and just be a little patient for like 2 more years, I think the team's going to be in such a good position.
Okay. All right. I'm glad to hear that. I like to hear that. I mean, listen, they are coming along. You know what I mean? And let's put it like this. And some people are going to say, you know, don't care about it. But over the past decade, this is going to be the second best record that the Knicks have had over the past decade. It's going to be a losing record, but the second best record they've had over the last decade.
So last point I want to make is, like, people were saying, you know, like, oh, if the team had been playing like this for the whole season, you know, it would have been different. But 2 things happened. Like, we started playing Sims. I think that was a big part of it, because Taj, like, is great, but he's just undersized against a lot of players. But also, like, what we're seeing is just we're seeing the young guys grow. A lot of this team is in their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd year. And this is the growth. It just took to the end of the season to see it.
Right.
So you guys have a great night.
Appreciate you, man.
The show.
Thank you for your time. And actually, not over the last decade, over the last 8 years. This season will be the second best record they had over the last 8 years. Last season is the best record they've had over the last 8 years. So, you know, whatever that's worth, it's what it's worth. You know what I mean?
3rd over the last 10 if you want to count 2014 when we went to the playoffs.
Yeah, so, you know, whatever that's worth, it's worth. But, you know, that's where we are right now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head up out of here. I've been podcasting all day long. I'm tired. You know what I mean? This is like my 5th show today, Josh. You know what I mean? I'm exhausted. I'm going to get me some rest.
Get some sleep, man. Get
me some rest, man. I appreciate everybody who called in, everybody in the chat, everybody who gave me a super chat. Appreciate all of you. I will be doing a shoot around sometime tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure what time, but I will be doing a shoot around and talk about some other topics and some other issues. You know, listen to some of the post-game show and, you know, or post-game press conferences and see what comes out of that. But I'm going to get up out of here, Josh. Any last words before we get out?
Controversy tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm be on with CT from the Streets of Buzzing podcast. We're going to talk all things Tibbs and all things Julius Randle. So that should be fun.
That should be a fun show. That should be it. That should be, whoo, there's going to be a lightning rod. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. I'm out of here. Be peaceful. One.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.